and welcome to Board with Video Games, the gaming podcast that strives for the right balance of coverage for games you play on your table and on your television. We're a proud member of the PSVG Podcast Network and thrilled to be part of the Dice Tower Network as well. I'm one of your hosts, Kyle Hyman, and joining me on this co-op adventure, the guy with 6 locked-in pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2, Josh Borboni. How are you doing this evening?
I don't have. Well, I'm okay. Target did try to charge me for 2 Switch 2 pre-orders, but then give me nothing, and have my bank lock my card the next day.
Nice.
So that was a fun surprise, trying to fill my tank up with gas to go to work and not be able to do that.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
So you have no Switch pre-orders locked in, is what I'm hearing.
That is correct. I did try. I tried for a long period of time.
Did you?
Between the 2 days. But you know, I don't know. Maybe it's not meant to be.
Maybe it's not. I shouldn't say that. I kind of tried, but very half-heartedly. I literally was lying in bed and saw the updates from people who had like locked in their Switch 2 pre-orders.
Yeah.
I was like, we'll try. I tried for about 6 minutes and I was like, I'm over this.
Well, thankfully, Donnie in the Discord set up a Switch 2 chat to help people get paired up with people who may have ended up with 2 or more pre-orders. So Donnie has promised me his second one. So I do feel confident that I will get one.
So what do you think was more shocking, Josh? The challenge of pre-ordering a Switch 2 or where Shedeur Sanders got drafted in the NFL draft?
Oh, geez. I guess both controversial in their own way. Well, I don't even know. I'm sure he's not thrilled. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But at least he's not pulling Eli Manning and refusing to play for the team when he was drafted.
Well, I mean, he just told teams up front that there were certain teams that he just said he wouldn't play for. So,
Oh, so he did the same thing. I didn't know he did that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I don't feel bad for him. Welcome to the Browns.
Well, a big thing too, though, there wasn't actually many teams who needed well, I shouldn't say that. There was not many teams looking to draft a quarterback this season. Yeah. I think a lot of teams always are open to a new quarterback.
We could use a quarterback in New England over here.
Wasn't a very strong quarterback class for the draft. So
yeah.
What are you going to do? And multiple teams drafted multiple quarterbacks. So
they always do. They always hope to be able to trade them for something in the future.
Or just see what it's going to work. Because, quarterback's one of those things. It's tough to tell. It's really tough to tell.
It is. Well, yeah. I mean, if you know anything about Drake May, like he had a great collegiate career, and this is not the organization to support him, unfortunately.
What I thought was pretty interesting, and I was not super locked into the draft this year, though I do, I like college football a lot. I just was not super locked into the draft. And the Raiders drafted 2 FCS quarterbacks. They drafted NDSU's quarterback Cam Miller and Tommy Mellott from Montana State. So the 2 quarterbacks who played in the FCS championship game got drafted by the same team. So
that's weird.
That is very weird. It's very, very weird. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do as far as that goes? So, but with that, Josh, it's been roughly a month since we've podcasted. We've talked since in between, but how are things going? How has the month of April treated you as we, wrap up this month and begin looking towards May?
Well, Kyle, I mean, I don't know when it's going to get old. It's probably already old. That's been a pretty bad month. And I think I'm just getting used to it. It's just another rough month. Just waiting for that break. It's coming right around the corner. I'm sure of it.
Well, I mean, your vacation's in what?
2 months.
2 months? There we go. If nothing else, you got that to look forward to, right?
Yes. Yeah, a guy at work said, when did you go on vacation? And I was like, July. July? You can't wait that long to go on vacation? It's like, yeah, I know. And it will be my only vacation of the year. Yeah. I'm not going to bore you with anything like that, but it's been a rough one. And I haven't handled it as well this past month as I have handled it previously. So
Well,
I've been prone to dramatic outbursts this past month, which I'm not proud
sometimes
of.
well, I think we all have those moments we're not proud of. That happens from time to time. And when things are challenging for extended periods of time, I think it makes it more likely for those dramatic to be a bit more dramatic about it. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't suck.
Oh yeah, it sucks. But
So,
on the off chance you had a better month, how was April for you? I know. Well, I know
April's been
you had a
really
very important thing going on in April.
I did. Yeah. So I guess technically now I am technically a doctor now. So
Congratulations.
that's thanks. So that's kind of neat and kind of weird. So yeah, I successfully defended my dissertation. So I am done with school again,
Awesome.
probably forever now, hopefully. So yeah, so I have graduation in a couple weeks, but yeah,
Nice.
technically I can be referred to as doctor. Now, not the doctor who can really solve or fix anything,
Sure.
but
Well,
still
you
nonetheless.
solve and
So
fix things all the time. You're just not in the medical field.
right, which I think especially now, probably the doctors who need to get a bit more respect, as they should. I'm not saying they should get a little bit more respect than my doctorate, but
Sure.
yeah, so it is kind of nice to have that, in the rearview mirror. It's funny because I was in my cohort, I was the last person to defend my dissertation, and it was just because work scheduling, like the bit early April is a really, really busy time for work. So I just didn't want to try to fit it in then. So I just did it when that busy couple of weeks of work was done. And everyone told me, they're like, when you finish, you're gonna be really tired. And they're like, you don't know why, you're just gonna be really, really tired. And ever since then, I have been exhausted. Like,
Yeah.
it's really weird because I have way less work than I've ever had in the last 3 years, and I am way more tired than I have been in the last 3 years. So
Got to catch up.
got to catch up. On the plus side, I have been able to play a lot of video games over the last
Yeah,
couple of weeks, so that's been
that is
pretty
a
great.
plus.
So yeah, so that's been good. That's exciting. Now I just got to figure out what's next, and kind of what the next adventures are and all that fun stuff. But yeah, so that's been good. So
Awesome.
happy to put close that chapter, and yeah, we'll see what's going to be next then.
Well
But
deserved.
oh, thanks. It's yeah. Both been a very long and a very short 3 years, that's for sure. So all right, but you know what, Josh? We have a ton of gaming things to talk about. So
We
how
do.
about we move on to the podcast proper?
Yeah.
So thanks so much for joining us this month, everyone. As always, if you have any feedback, questions, or suggested topics, hit us up at boardwithvg at gmail.com, or check out stuff on Instagram, where we're also board with VG. We are proud to be part of the Play Some Video Games podcast family, and we encourage you to check out all the shows like the PSVG podcast, the Nintendo Shack, PSXP, the occasional Sweet Hangs. You never know when a new show might pop up, so be sure to stay tuned to all your favorite PSVG podcasts to stay up to date. We're also a member of the Dice Tower Podcast Network, so if you enjoy our conversations about board games and would like to dive deeper into that world, we encourage you to check out the Dice Tower Podcast as well as all the other members of the network. No matter what type of board games you enjoy, there's a podcast on the network that's right for you. So with that, Josh, let's talk a little bit about what we have been playing. I'll be honest, I've dabbled in a ton,
Same.
but I really put like the three things I have played the most as the things I'm going to talk about. Though we can talk about BG3 if you want to a little bit. But we'll start with
Yeah.
you, Josh. What have you been playing, sir?
So same. I'll do a couple of quick hitters. I did want to mention I did die in my D&D campaign. My character did
No!
fully die.
What happens then?
Well, it depends. So there are things that can happen. My options were to play as a new character, potentially play as a character that the other party runs into in the game. I did sit out the last session because I had to do my taxes, and that was also very depressing.
Preach.
And so I sat out, and apparently the party found a way to revive me through some sort of means I'm not familiar with yet, but I'll find out tomorrow when we
Oh, nice.
conclude. When I go back, I should say, not conclude. We're not concluding anything. So yeah, that had happened.
Wait, I have to ask
Yeah,
that
yeah,
as a
yeah.
clarification. So are you like a zombie now?
I don't know. Actually, I actually don't know what my
Oh,
fate is going to be when I go back. I just know that my guy, as he was, is no longer dead. That could mean a lot of different things in D&D.
I was say I feel like you might have like some weird. Maybe you have to like drink people's blood now. I mean, there's so many things that could be
Maybe.
going on now. This
Well,
is
we're fighting a
a whole.
vampire, so I'm probably not going to be able to do that.
Wait, you're fighting a vampire?
But yeah, that's not who killed me.
But maybe that's who helped bring you back. Maybe
No,
they made
no,
an alliance and the vampire brought you back as a vampire.
no. This guy doesn't mess around.
Okay, well, I'm just
Yeah,
thinking outside the box here. And that was like, then you'd have to be like, owe them a favor, and that's going to come back later in the campaign. I don't know. Anyway,
yeah. No, we've been a pain in this vampire's side for a while, and he wouldn't help any of us, I don't think. But
Mm.
who knows? Yeah, but I mean, I'll be interested to see what happens next. Split Fiction. You know what? I was like, I'm never gonna play this game if I don't just try to make my wife play, because
Yeah,
just the assumption is like, how do I say it politely? She's just not great at like 3D action platformers, right?
sure.
She just can't get the
Yeah, 100%.
cameras down and stuff, which is fine. I think Hogwarts Legacy really helped her figure that out a little bit.
For sure.
And she's killing it. We're playing Split Fiction together. She's doing great, and it's been a ton of
Uh-huh.
fun.
Great.
We didn't finish it yet because things have come up.
How far
I
are
can't
you?
even believe I didn't put this on here. Did I take this off? We completed the level where you are animal, when you can be like the gorilla,
Oh,
the
gotcha. Okay.
fairy.
Yeah.
There's a part in the
Yeah.
game where you can be different animals.
Yep.
So that's how far we got.
Because I think we're on the second to last stage
Okay.
is
Yeah,
where
I'm
we're
not sure
at.
how
So we're
far in we are,
almost done.
but we're probably like
You got a ways
7
to go
hours
still.
in. Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah, you're probably about halfway.
yeah. Okay. That's troubling and good. I mean, I'm having a blast. I'm loving it. But I would definitely was seeing some of the things you were talking about, like, saying lines before the characters even say them, like
Ah,
aim for the
yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Things like that. But that part is fine. But I really am enjoying the gameplay. So it's been a lot of fun playing that, and it's been nice having
100%.
like game time with my wife too. And speaking of that, game time with my wife, Blueprints. I'll talk a little bit longer about Blueprints probably. But for anyone who doesn't know, this game is it's on Game Pass. It's on PS Plus, one of the PS Plus tiers. I'm
PS
not sure
Plus
which one.
Extra.
Extra. And you know, I didn't. There's like, I don't love this type of game anymore. Now, I used to love games like this in the past. This is the first person puzzle solving game. What's the game that everyone loved that
Mist.
you liked? No,
Oh,
The
uh,
Witness.
Witness. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't like The Witness. But when I was younger, I loved Myst because we
Mm-hmm.
only had a PC and an NES, right? So we played Myst all the time. Myst, Riven, Seventh
Mm-hmm.
Guest, 11th Hour, all those games.
Yeah.
And Blueprints really has a very Myst feeling to it while not playing like Myst, which I really appreciate. It has like that Myst narrative over it. But the point of Blueprints, the idea of Blueprints is you, I guess you inherit this mansion. You get this, it's your uncle's mansion. And the idea of the game is it's very adjacent to our interests. It's very adjacent to board gaming. It has room tiles as you explore this mansion that I would compare like castles of Mad King Ludwig or Betrayal at House on the Hill, where you're exploring this mansion. You're trying to get to the antechamber to figure out more secrets. And as you go through this mansion, you have a number of steps you can take as a character in the game, and those steps are taken up when you enter and exit rooms. Enter and re-enter rooms, not exit. And once you're out of steps, you're kind of out. You're done for the day, and you end your day, and you start a new day, and your day repeats, and the house resets, and you just continue going through. And I don't want to say too much because the joy of this game is figuring it out. And this has been an awesome family game. My wife, my son, we sit down, we listen to each other, we talk about ideas of what we want to do, how we want to explore this house. And I have a whole notes app up where we're writing down notes on things that pop up. And I think it's just an incredible game. It's just, it's very good looking. It has this really like sharp, cell shaded art style. It has a cool narrative, and we're on day 28, I think, and um, we're just finding new stuff still constantly, and it's so much fun. I'm just having a blast playing it.
Yeah, I'm glad you're having so much fun. I have it downloaded. I just went from game to game to game, and I was like, I don't want to start this if I'm not going to like commit some time to it. So it is definitely going to get played though.
Yeah, and that was the way I went into it. I was like, I want to try it, and then I'll decide if I like it. I'll come back to it, and then I just couldn't put it down. I think we played for 2 days straight after it came out. That whole weekend, it was awesome. Not productive weekend. What else? Quick ones. Blueprints, not so quick. Split fiction, quick. All right, Baldur's Gate 3. I'm back in. I played last night with my buddy, but also I played with my other buddy, the guy that I'm looking at right now and that other people are listening to. That's Kyle. We were trying every Thursday night, we try to figure out what we're going to play. We kind of always do that thing like, where do you want to go to eat tonight?
Yeah.
And because we finished Gears of War, and we were like ready to move on to something else, and we have like Helldivers as our like constant to go to if other people want to play. And I kind of was just like, I hadn't played Baldur's Gate in a bit. Like I play with my buddy, it's like once a month on average. I had this real like hankering to play some more. So I talked to Kyle. I was like, hey, I didn't even know you hadn't played it. I just didn't know if you were playing it. So, pleasant surprise. So I kind of got a taste of what it's like for my friend playing with me. And I think it's awesome. Like not like Kyle and I play, and I'm like, I do the same thing my buddy did for me. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna let like Kyle take the lead and make these decisions, knowing that I've already done so, but knowing there's so many different ways to play it. That's like exhilarating to a degree for me. Like it's just a lot of fun. And my impression was you enjoyed what you played, and that's always I think that's like a big part of it. Like it would have been a bummer if you didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I still have outlets. Like I can still play by myself. I can still play with my buddy. But we played for 2.5 hours, about an hour of gameplay and about an hour of character creation.
There's so many things to set up.
Yeah, but that's important. And we played again. I played last night, and we I kind of influenced my buddy to make a decision that did kill another main character that I was just laughing as it happened.
Because how far ahead, like how much further in that game are you?
I think he told me when we finished last night, we're just about to enter Act 3, so we're pretty far.
So quite a bit far. Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, I am enjoying the heck out of it, and I had a blast playing with you because it was really fun, seeing it through your eyes and how you play too. I really like that a lot.
It is interesting because we ended at camp, and I know I've been thinking about it since we ended. I'm like, okay, we're gonna come out of camp. I have no idea what we're supposed to do though. Like
that's awesome. I love it.
So I was like, and in my mind, I'm like, I know Josh has been like, well, I'm gonna kind of let you pick because I've experienced these things before. I'm like, but I don't even know where to go. I don't know what to do.
I'm not gonna like make you go blind. I'm still on your team.
I'm like, I know we're going to look for a town. That much I know, but that's about all I know.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what direction the town is.
That's okay. It's great. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. Sunderfolk. I'll talk about Sunderfolk quickly. I'll talk about it more once we played more. But Sunderfolk just came out. It is a tabletop video game that is doing some new things that we haven't seen in video games or board games, and that
Yeah.
is really incorporating the digital aspect of it. Which the game, for people who might be curious, is a dungeon crawler. Plays like Gloomhaven, where you have cards that have moves and attacks on them. You don't have to choose top or bottom like in Gloomhaven. You just have to choose a card and do the actions on it. But what makes this game unique is you buy the game, whether you get a PC, Xbox, PlayStation. I'm not sure if it's on Switch or not, but I can't imagine it wouldn't be. Um, and then, you own the game. And then when you play with people on phones and tablets. And that the beauty of that is only one person needs to buy the game. Um, it's meant to be played like coach co-op, but there is a way to play online as well. You would just need someone to like be able to cast their main screen.
Okay,
'Cause
I was going to ask how that would work
yeah,
because it's not. So it would. You'd have to. Okay.
someone has to be casting it. So as you play, picture a board, picture a hexagonal board. You have your phone, and your phone has all your information on your character, your level, your spells, your cards, the bad guys, all that kind of stuff. And then also you choose your cards on your phone, and then you draw on your phone where you want your guy to move. And you see that live on the TV while you're playing. So you'll see as you're drawing where your guy's going. Um yeah, I won't say too much more. I played with my family again, played with my son, my wife. And so far it's been very fun. It's been very good. And it's challenging to a degree. It's not like super challenging, and you can change the difficulty. And we'll probably lower it one to play with my son just because it would be quicker to get through areas. But after you get through certain areas, you go back to a town, and there's a town phase where everyone can do like on their own. You can go talk to people in town. All the people are animals. Your characters are animals. I'm a polar bear. My son is a goat who is an archer, and my wife is a raven. Uh, and there's tons of other options as well. There's like 6 other classes of animal characters. Yeah, but it's super cute, super fun. Reminds me of Everdell character wise, and
Yeah.
Gloomhaven, gameplay wise.
Josh, have you entered the Sunderfolk launch sweepstakes?
I have not.
Because you can win a new iPad Air, an engraved Apple Pencil Pro, a custom
Oh,
Sunderfolk tablet cover, and a free copy of the game. 6 winners will win that.
oh, nice. Is that on
So
social?
if you go to their website, they'll tell you how to enter.
Cool. I will enter. But yeah, so far, high recommendation. I really like it. But again, we've only played the first chapter, so there's more to go.
Yeah, I'm really
Yeah,
interested in this game. Once we finish Split Fiction, I think this is what I'm going to ask the partner if she wants to play, give it a shot to, and see how she feels about it. So, yeah, it looks really cool.
it is. So far, so good. Let's see. The other things I have to talk about, you have been playing. I'll do a quick hit on this one, and then I'll just chime in with yours.
Okay.
South of Midnight. South of Midnight. I am playing it, believe it or not. And it's fine. Uh, if I'm gonna be blunt about it, it's fine. It's not bad, but it's not keeping my attention with all these other options. And I'm out of my funk, so I'm really excited to be playing games.
Mm-hmm.
And I started South of Midnight, and I don't know, it's a slow start. It was a slow start for me. I really like the story. I really like the look of the game.
Yeah.
But I find the combat to be copy paste, unfortunately, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do think that like, they do a good job at the beginning at spacing out a little bit how you're getting new skills to keep it like a little fresh. Um, but that's only like 2 hours of spacing out abilities until I
Right.
think you get all of your stuff. Um, and I don't hate the combat. The combat is fine, uh, but it's boring. Like Nothing
Yes, it is.
exciting is happening in combat. Unlike a game we'll talk about in a little bit.
Heck
Um,
yeah, it
uh,
is.
so that being said, I will finish it. And I do want to see. I like the music in it. I do want to see how the story continues, but it wasn't what I was expecting based off of what we talked about in the past from its showings. Like I expected this to be like in my top 5 games. As of right now, it's not. It might be when I finish it, but I don't know. We got a lot of strong contenders in the past 2 weeks, so I might have bumped it
how
right out.
how far are you in it right now?
Oh, I'm probably.
Do you know what
I don't
chapter
know.
you're in?
No, I can tell you that it's not very far. The alligator just destroyed the tower,
Church.
church.
Oh,
Yeah, the
okay.
bell
Yeah, so you're
tower
not
or the
super far.
church. Yeah, not super
Okay,
far, but like
gotcha.
I feel like I've been
Um,
playing for like 4 hours.
Here's what I can tell you. I don't think anything is going to happen that's going to change your opinion on it.
Yeah, that's what I figured,
Yeah. I
which is
So
fine.
yeah. I mean, I have finished the game. I completed
Okay.
South of Midnight. It's 13 or 14 chapters, something in that ballpark. I think it took me about 9,
Oh, so I think
maybe
I'm
10
on like
hours
chapter
total.
5, and I'm like, how many chapters can there be? Why am
Yeah,
I
it's
at
13 or
5
14.
already?
Yeah, it's 13 or 14. And some of them are super short and some of them are super long. I mean,
Yeah,
there's not a ton of consistency in chapter length. Uh, Basically, though, Josh, what you said is kind of sums up the game. It looks incredible. The music is wonderful. The voice acting is good. The story is solid. Playing the game, though, is boring as all get out. It just is not. But I truly believe this game would have been better if there was no combat in it at all. And you could
yeah.
actually, I know you can actually shut the combat off. Like you can just shut it off so you don't ever do combat, including you can shut off the boss fights.
I don't love
Um,
how they hide experience points.
right. How you have to like just go find the little nooks to get the floofs or whatever they're called.
Yeah, because like there's games that you play that rewards you for exploring, but it's never a reward that's critical for you to succeed in completing the game.
Right.
Like this seems like they're hiding things that are necessary for you to move forward.
Well, so I did something in this game that I very rarely do. I turned the combat all the way down to the
Did you turn
easiest
it down?
level. Yeah, all the way down. Because not because I was dying, just because all that happens is that you have to it gets to the point where you just have to hit the enemies more and more to kill them. But that's it. You're just like hitting them more. And it's like, well, this is not it's not fun. It's not exciting. It's not engaging. The combat is just not enjoyable in the game and for me in any way, shape, or form. And what is so interesting to me about Compulsion as a studio. Number one, when Xbox bought them, I thought it was very odd. I was like, this is a really weird studio to pick up. But more power to them. You know, they were looking at expanding their portfolio. That's totally fine. When they bought them back in like 2018 or whatever it was, they're so good at creating a sense of like place and an environment, and their art direction is incredible for all their games. Contrast, We Happy Few, and this one, amazing. But none of their games, from my perspective, are fun to play. None of
Yeah,
them have ever been. Contrast was fine. We Happy Few, I don't think playing was an enjoyable experience at all. But again, a really cool place. And I
yeah,
think that's true with this game as well. I just am shocked in some ways at how good they are at certain aspects of creating games and how like far back other areas like pull their games, because this was a game I was really interested in. It was a game I was really like looking forward to, hoping this was going to be kind of be the big breakout for them.
yeah,
And I would be shocked if this game is in my top 10 at the end of the year. It just is such a wet blanket of a game. And then the story was pretty decent, and then the end for me was just kind of meh. It just kind of ends and you're like, okay, well, I guess that's it then. um yeah, I just was both, but that's what it's so challenging, because there are some really good aspects to the game that
yeah.
I want people to see and check out. But it's hard for me to recommend playing the game though.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me.
So yeah, but I finished it because I was like, well, it's a third person action game. I didn't want to get kicked out of the Xbox channel on the Discord. So I was like, well, look, hey, I have finished this game. How many other Xbox players can say that?
That's right.
And no one else chimed in other than like D-Life, but that's fine.
Yeah,
So, but, so South of Midnight, yep, that's wrapped up. We're moving on from that. Like I said, I think if you have Game Pass, what I think is interesting is that this very much is like, this is the perfect Game Pass game, because
Yes.
I think you should experience it, but I don't think I'd recommend anybody buy it. You
Yeah,
know,
and you
like,
don't feel guilty about spending $60 on it.
right. So there we go. I feel a little bad that you bought early access to it though.
I did it, and then I only got to play for like an hour in that like 3-day window. So I was like, I shouldn't have done it.
That's okay. I bought early access to Avowed and played it in the early
Yeah,
access period, and then I basically didn't play it
never
after
played it
that.
again.
So there
Yeah,
we go. Um, though I was gonna buy Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation
of course you were.
just to see your reaction,
Of
but I
course you
didn't.
were.
I didn't do it. And then I've been going back to AC Shadows. I'm probably 34 hours into AC Shadows now. I decided in the last 3 hours or so, once I hit the 30-hour mark and I realized I hadn't progressed like the story at all, I decided I probably should start doing that. So I started
Nice.
actually kind of going through and progressing the story and things like that. What is having that, and then we'll talk about it in a little bit, Ghost of Yote having their trailer drop,
Yeah,
and then seeing like how similar some of these story, like at least the story conception is between the two of them. Now there's a lot of stories that are similar in media that play out very different, and the experience of and experiencing them is very different. So I don't think it's a um just because the story conceits are similar that the games are going to be quote unquote the same by any means. But there's a couple of things I now have experienced in AC Shadows that makes me uh, really appreciate Ghost of Tsushima so much more. Specifically, like when you have these like one-on-one duels with people, like in Ghost, they were just so like there was so much style to those things, and there's just none in AC Shadows. It is just so just Assassin's Creed, but you happen to be in Japan, and I'm okay with that. Like because I do like Assassin's Creed, but just all the comparisons between Ghost of Tsushima in this and what I'm sure will happen with Ghost of Yote in this, uh, this game just has no style in comparison to like the Ghost series, the first Ghost game, and I assume the second Ghost game. But still enjoying it. This is going to be that game I keep going back to, but it is now taking a backseat to the current game of the moment, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Um, this is a game we saw last year for the first time. It was revealed at Xbox's Summer Showcase, developed by Sandfall Interactive. This is their debut game. A studio of 33 people.
crazy. Also
Crazy.
interesting.
Also interesting, right? I'm gonna guess though, whenever I get to the credits of this game, there's gonna be a whole lot of contractors and stuff because there's no way it was just 33 people.
Yeah,
But yeah, so the game came out, people have been interested, I was interested. That trailer just oozed style a
yeah,
year ago, and ever since then, the all the trailers have come out have been really interesting. The voice cast for this is like deep,
yeah.
well-known people who've done really exceptional things in the past. You have Charlie Cox basically playing like your
I just
main
found that out
character
today.
basically.
I skipped
Yeah,
all the
right.
I skipped all the lead up trailers, so I didn't know.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
So you hadn't seen any of the trailers of this?
I intentionally skipped them all after the Xbox
Xbox
showcase one.
Showcase? Yeah. And then, so this was a game I was really looking forward to, but you're always a little hesitant because, first game, new developer, let's see how it goes.
Yeah,
And then the reviews came out, and it's currently the highest or second highest rated game of the year
yeah.
from a review standpoint. And as a result, I said, I know this game is available on Game Pass, and I don't do this very often, but I ended up buying it on PlayStation
Oh, okay.
just because
Give
I
me the
was like,
money.
I want to. Yeah, I wanted to support the studio. I'm like, if
Yeah,
this game is as good as it looks and the reviewers are saying it's good, I want to support a new studio doing this, so I'm going to give them, I'll pay for the game. That's totally fine. I am now maybe 5 hours in.
I'm 6 hours
This
in.
game is okay. This game is incredible.
Yeah, I agree
This
with you.
game is so good. Do you agree, Josh?
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
Yeah, it's just
I
it's
like I don't even know what to
beautiful.
say about it. Like it is so like the music is amazing. The
Yeah,
setting and art direction is phenomenal. The voice acting is incredible. The story is like unique
depressing.
and depressing, but like it's a really unique, it's a
Yeah.
instant hook
Oh
and
yeah.
to get you in of like going after these expeditions that go out, and then they ask so many questions in the prologue of like, okay, so once the paintress like paints this number 33, everyone who's 34 evaporates basically.
Yeah.
They get snapped out of existence, because they all
They
kind of
become
do the same
roses.
thing. Yeah, into roses. And then, this new expedition of 33-year-olds go out to try to stop the paintress from like doing this, and making it 32.
Yeah.
But then the interesting questions of like, well, should younger people be going? If you're 22, should you be going on this expedition to try to like save people? And like all of the questions that they introduce in the prologue, and
Yeah.
then they're like, oh, but now we're just gonna go do this thing. Like, it's
Yeah.
so mind blowing. And then the combat, like, I don't know, as someone who loves turn-based combat, I don't know that I found a more exciting, engaging, fun turn-based combat system with, yes, all of the characters in your party have different actions and abilities, but they're not like your typical builds of like what you expect to see, and all of the interactions and things worked. Josh, this game is so good, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about your thoughts.
Yeah. I agree with you. It's incredible. I did. I'm not proud of this, but I gave it my college. I gave it the college try. There was a boss. The first boss fight. I tried like 7 times. I couldn't beat him. I'm not playing on normal difficulty. And
Mm-hmm.
every time there's a loading screen, whether you died or not, the game just is like, hey, you can lower the difficulty if you want.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Which
I'm
boss
not
fight
gonna
was
do
this?
it. The first I don't even remember at this point. First tall, big boss fight.
Oh, okay. Actually, maybe I'm a little shorter into it then, because I just saw that thing and saved it and quit.
No, not
Because
that
I
thing, not
haven't.
that thing.
Okay.
Like first tall for you, not first tall for what can be.
Oh, gotcha. Is it the one who's like on the right hand side? And they're like, oh, this one looks pretty tough.
I don't remember. Maybe it was
Okay,
just
that's
one
fine.
guy, but I was like, I'll come back to this. Like, it just says you can change difficulty whenever you want.
Yeah.
So the funny part with is the scaling. So I just went down one difficulty level,
Uh-huh.
and like the guy that was just murking me, he was hitting me for like 40 to 50 hit points every hit.
Mm-hmm.
Then change the difficulty level down 1 is hitting me for 7, 12. I'm like, holy crap. So I'm gonna probably scale it back up at some point. But now that I have like the combat system down a little bit better, but I love it. I think that my wife is watching like me play, and like she's like, we started watching a streamer play too, because she missed the intro. I wanted to see it, and I wanted to see, like, that's my new thing, is like watching someone stream something I've already played through to see the experiences that differ.
Mm-hmm.
And like this guy just didn't talk to anybody in the prologue,
Oh,
and then
interesting.
he's asking all these questions, and I'm like, dude, if
Why
you
didn't you
only
talk
talk
to
to
all the
people.
people?
But yeah, the music is incredible. It's just like very. I haven't heard music in a video game like this in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just mind-blowingly good and emotional and exciting, and there's like it's almost like a nightclub sometimes. Some of the fights, the characters are very interesting. I really like that as well. The gameplay though, like, that's where it shines, right? And it certainly borrows from like the materia system
Mm-hmm.
ish, but has its own take on that. Is it lumens, not
Lumen,
lumens,
yeah.
luminous maybe? But you have these skills that you can learn, and you have to complete certain amount of battles with them to master them, and those become your stronger attacks, and you can have 6 active at any time, at least currently. And maybe it gets more, I'm not sure. But in each one you have way more options than the 6, and you can cater them to complement each other, your other characters in battle. You can just kind of go on your own. Each character can have their own specialty, but I really like that aspect. There's like so many different options to customize these characters. So we talked about in the past, I'm trying to think if I can remember, I believe the game was it called Shadow Hearts for PlayStation 2. So there's a game in the past that was Shadow Hearts. So there's a game called Shadow Hearts for the PS2. It uses a very similar combat system to this. But in the combat system in Shadow Hearts was on like a time dial. Like
Mm-hmm.
and you would try to match up your attacks with the circles in the time dial that were highlighted, and that would give you a better attack. So this game is pretty similar. When you're attacking, you have these quick time event moments that pop up where you try to match your attack into this diagonal grid of a number, a letter, like your A button or X button, whatever you're playing with. But you also have your combat defenses. You have dodge, parry, and jump. And those things you have to learn how the bad guys attack, and you have to remember because each like enemy type has a different pattern of attacking. So it is pretty important to like realize like what you're up against. And you also have to be careful about how you attack as well. You have this. I don't want to keep talking about the combat system because we'll just talk forever about it.
Because it's so good.
It's so good. It's just like it's very fun. It's interesting. The levels are just beautiful and interesting and unique. And I did not expect an overworld map, but even the overworld map is like quirky and charming on its own. And I know I'm forgetting some other things I like about it, but there's other things I like about it.
Well, it's surprisingly lighthearted at times, despite the very dour situation they're in. A joke is cracked now and then. I really appreciate the fact that, you can find these merchants along the way, and then it's like, hey, you want the good stuff? Prove that you deserve it. And then you can fight the merchants and get like better gear, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it does take like little bits and pieces from a lot of different games and like puts them into this pot and like stirs it all up and then creates, in this case, an absolutely exceptional game.
Even the traversal is awesome. Like even walking through the world feels really good.
Yeah. And obviously, kind of like Josh mentioned, though you can dodge, the dodge window is huge. There's times that you can jump. Like being able to master the parry is like really what this game is focused on.
Yeah.
And when you hit it, it feels so good. And like the counterattacks that oh my gosh. And some characters or some enemies when they attack, it's like, yep, one thing you have to parry and you're good to go. Others, it's 2, 3, 4, 5 hits in a row that you're trying to parry to be able to get that like absolutely like massive counterattack. And it's worth it. Like if you can do it, the counterattack you do is so damaging to them. And it's cool too, because if you realize you're not great at it, there are things you can do to build up so that you are stronger from dodging, where, one of the first like pictos that you get allows you that every time you successfully dodge, you get like 1 AP and, you can use those action points then to do more powerful attacks. And it just, there's a lot of just neat layers of things going on here. You can see the influences from, the pairing of like the, your Sekiros to the team up and handoffs that you can see that happen from like a Persona game. I mean, there's just so much going on in here in world, and the world and the setting and like the levels are just so unique. I don't really feel like I've experienced things like this in a game before. And I think that's becoming harder and harder to say that like that a game feels, even though there's familiar elements, it still truly feels like its own thing.
Yeah.
And it's great.
And you can be punished for exploring.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of times I went down a path. I was like, "Ooh, I wonder what's going to be down here." And then a one-hit kill from a guy I run into. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm going back."
But what is neat about that too, right, is that yes, one-hit kill, but if you master the system,
yes,
because you can parry everything. Everything can be parried.
You could fight that guy for an hour and maybe get him down. Yeah,
absolutely, you could.
100%.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it's such a cool game. I had high hopes, I should say, but I didn't know that I like expected it to be good. But it definitely has blown my hopes even out of the water. It's so good.
Agreed.
So we'll see if I can get this done by the time Doom: The Dark Ages comes out. We'll see what happens.
No way. And Towerborn, I think, comes out this week. That's a game I'm interested in trying. That's on Game Pass as well.
Yeah, Towerborn. Yeah. Game Pass is having a good 6 weeks or so. Game Pass is going to be having here. That is for sure. So cool. Josh, anything else you want to talk about on the gaming front that we've played?
No. We talked again. We do a great job of talking for a long time about the games we're playing. So we
Well,
did a good
Josh,
job.
when you like a game as much as we like Clair Obscur, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, so let me just ask then.
We should
Right
we should probably
now,
talk about games more than talk about some of the board game news.
oh my god, yeah. Right now, Josh, if you had to pick, I mean, is Clair Obscur? I mean, obviously we haven't finished it yet, but is it currently your front runner for your favorite game this year?
It's up there with Blueprints. I don't know that I want to separate the two of them yet.
Because that's what I was going to ask. Would it be that or Blueprints for you? So
Yeah, I won't separate them yet, but they're neck and neck at the moment. I have way more hours into Blueprints,
right,
and
yeah,
it's definitely a different type of game. But I think I know where I'll end up.
yeah. Oh, you think you know? Okay,
I think so.
interesting. Yeah, well, there's a lot of games left this year. This year has been a really good year for games so far. We still have a lot in front of us, so we'll see how things go. But all right, well, hey, from talking about things we love to an absolute dumpster fire, let's talk about some board game things. It's been an interesting month for the board game world since we last spoke and last did a podcast. Um, Obviously, often people are, or not often, every once in a while, people are like, hey, you should just talk about games. You shouldn't talk about politics. Well, sometimes politics have a big impact on games. So this, especially for board games, with the current tariffs that exist with China in the United States, this has put a pretty significant pinch on the board game industry as a whole. So we're just going to talk about some of the things that have happened over the last month. Some of these we might go in depth on. Some of them we might just briefly mention them, but we'll kind of start talking about everything. Starting with the good folks at Come On. You may remember, listeners, last month we talked about how Come On was really struggling financially, that they weren't in a great situation, that they were supposed to have kind of produce their financials for the end of the fiscal year, and that had to be delayed because they didn't have them done and other things going on. Well, now Come On has announced layoffs and pausing future game development and new crowdfunding. So this is from, and as most of these things will be from the Board Game Wire. Board game crowdfunding giant Come On is laying off staff and halting new game development and campaign launches, citing the ongoing unpredictability in U.S. tariffs. Come On said it was reducing staff across all of its creative teams due to the current global economic uncertainty, most notably the 145% tariff on China imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump, a situation which has left companies across the board games industry reeling. The company added that it had paused all future game development and new crowdfunding campaigns until trade conditions have stabilized. Come On currently has 10 yet to be delivered crowdfunding projects, which raised more than $22 million in various stages of production, with the $3.8 million Zombicide White Death, the next game due to reach backers in Q2 of this year. Another 7 titles are currently due for delivery later in 2025, including DC Superheroes United, which raised more than $4.4 million on GameFound, and Deceased, a Zombicide game, which raised more than $2.5 million in a Kickstarter campaign. Come On also has 7 more titles outstanding that were made available through pre-order,
Ugh,
5 of
thanks.
which are currently slated for Q2 delivery. I'm not going to read any more, but Josh, Come On comes out and says, hey, we're going to finish up what we got, but we're not doing anything new, laying off people. What were your thoughts?
My first thought was we heard about this before they announced it from someone they were supposed to be supporting, which doesn't look good for
Yep.
them in that light either. Like, hey, by the way, we wanted to fulfill you with your games, but our other people who are handling that for us, Come On, are telling us they're not even responding to us. So, like, okay, that's a bad sign. And then this news comes out. I didn't know they only had 87 employees. That's crazy to me with the amount of money that they get out of Kickstarter. So they did not announce that I saw how many people they were laying off.
Yeah, I've not seen that.
But seeing that there's only 87 employees at the beginning of 2024, that's kind of scary how many of those people they might have to let go and how they think that they can function. Like, what does that look like for a company that I thought was huge? I mean, they are huge. Well,
I mean, for a board game
they are
company, that is
still
huge.
huge. It's just I expected a higher headcount. But yeah, that kind of speaks to like the differences between Stonemaier games and Come On.
Right.
5 versus 87. Yeah, that's not great news. That's what I'll say about that. Like, I don't know if it's because I have this I have a specific opinion about Come On that I don't really have for another board game company. So I don't know if that like makes me not care so much or what. I'm not sure what that is, but like I don't have like I don't know. I just have a frustration with this company only doing Kickstarters when they have the means to not do that, or at least they used to,
Right.
before all this. So we've talked in the past before about how like at least my opinion on Kickstarters and stuff was like for companies that can't afford to go into mass marketing or not mass
Hmm.
marketing, mass manufacturing for games and things like that. So like Renegade, even I don't even like when Renegade Studios does a Kickstarter, and they're significantly smaller of a footprint than Come On. I'm not sure how company wise, but they're definitely viewed as a smaller company. Uh, I don't know. I don't have a great new hot take on this.
Yeah. No, I think, it when you have a company like Come On, who is one of the stalwarts in the industry, being like, hey, we have to take a pause. Now, it does make you wonder about how efficiently they're being run anyway, but it does show that, the politics of what's happening is having some significant impacts. And connected to that, specifically, Final Frontier Games has shut down with 3 unfulfilled crowdfunding projects worth almost 1.4 million. Says, come on, failing to pay for localization
There
was
you go.
the final nail. Merchants Cove and Coloma publisher Final Frontier Games is shutting down with 3 crowdfunding projects worth nearly 1.4 million still unfulfilled. The Macedonia-based company, which has been publishing games since 2016, revealed it had been in dire financial straits for 5 years after taking one huge unexpected cost around delivering its first Merchants Cove campaign at the height of the pandemic, with spiking shipping leading to an unplanned bill of more than $350,000. That expense erased all of the profits from the $600,000 Kickstarter campaign, leading Final Frontier to decide to siphon funds from its other projects to get the game to backers and keep its business running. Final Frontier has since raised more than 2.1 million across 6 crowdfunding campaigns, with the most successful Merchants Cove Mastercraft collecting over $700,000 from more than 8,100 backers. That project and 2 others, a Kickstarter for Sixth Realm and a Gamefound campaign for an expansion and reprint of Coloma, remain undelivered despite funding with 1.39 million. Merchants Cove was already running more than 18 months behind its initial expected delivery date. Final Frontier said in a series of updates to those project backers today, we can't ask extra money from you in order for this project to be delivered because we're not sure your money will be safe, especially in the event we are forced to file for bankruptcy. We have accounts to settle with our warehouses. We have a huge loan from the bank and we'll try to collect. We're in no position to take money from you, even if you wanted to. So, Josh, Final Frontier gets shut down. I mean, Merchants Cove is a game that people love. People really, really love Merchants Cove. Coloma is a game I think that's maybe not quite as popular as far as like volume, but still a game that overall is well respected.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on hearing, that Final Frontier is shutting its doors?
I think, I think it kind of gets mixed in with the tariff thing, but I think this is a bigger problem with the Kickstarter portion of board games. And I mean, you said it. You said the word. You said the phrase siphoning from other projects. Like
Yep.
that's a big no no,
Yep.
and that means you got a bad. You have a bad business partners or bad marketing managers or bad something. Something's wrong in there, especially when you have learned a lesson from the pandemic. Should have learned a lesson from the pandemic. Um, I don't know how they ran their campaigns. I don't know how transparent they were with their backers before this, but it makes me think of Golden Bell Studios for sure.
Yep.
It makes me think of people who like we have steered towards Kickstarter, and then they had make one Kickstarter investment and never get their whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, um, nothing against Final Frontier games, but I think like this is an example of why people are hesitant to use Kickstarter for things.
Yep. 100%.
Um, And yeah, that stinks for the people that paid them money.
It really does.
You know, and uh, yeah, it's they get this added benefit now of being able to blame the tariffs for a game that was 18 months overdue.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you know, that's something that
So
they might take advantage of. Who knows? Hopefully not, but that's a big old bummer.
yeah. Well, speaking of more good news, online board game seller Boardlandia shuts down after tariffs add unsustainable burden to the company's existing challenges. Again, from the folks over at Board Game Wire, Tim and Chris Fent, who took over ownership of Boardlandia and its namesake brick and mortar store in 2017, said in a statement that tariffs have added an unsustainable burden to existing financial challenges being faced by the business. They said that despite pouring their personal savings, our time, and countless hours of hard work into Boardlandia, striving to overcome these obstacles, the China tariffs, which currently stand at 145%, had left the pair with no viable path forward for the company. The fence added that the physical store in store Boardlandia Appleton, which is independently owned and operated and a separate entity from the online store, was not part of the closure. So Boardlandia was launched in Appleton, Wisconsin a decade ago by Tim Seaman after 3 years of him running online shopping, trading, and the forum site BoardGameTrader.com. Chris and Tim Fent bought the business 2 years later and built the online arm into a popular, highly regarded operation that went toe to toe with larger operations such as Game Nerds, Card House, and Miniature Market. So, Josh, Boardlandia is shutting down. Did you ever use Boardlandia? What are your thoughts of us losing an online game seller?
I probably did at one point, but not enough that I've used Game Nerds, Card House, and Miniature Market more.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure I bought like a deal off of Boardlandia one like Black Friday or something.
Sure.
Yeah, also a bummer. You know, I think it speaks to. I mean, we're going to see a lot more of this, but it's kind of scary how quickly tariffs started affecting board game industry
Yeah.
and how um, uh, uncertain the future of it is. Like, it's so unstable because we just don't know. And as like now, I wouldn't even say we. So these two people have to make a decision. Can we stick it out? Do you think that these tariffs will be straightened out in a month? Can we even
Right.
make it a month? And then what if we make it a month and then it's still not changed? Now we're in debt. And what if we try to make it another month? To the opposite thing of like, hey, we close, and then next week, hey, tariffs are back.
Right.
We're normal. It's so uncertain and crazy and unfortunate. So I feel for people like this who have like a legitimate, like successful business that they want to get product to people, but also be profitable. And they can't,
Yep.
nobody can do that right now with how this is.
Right. And as we've often said, the board games, even successful board games, don't always sell anywhere near as many copies as people would think a successful board game does, and that the profit margins are very thin in board games. So, even quote unquote successful companies might not have the cash on hand or things like that you'd expect, in order to kind of sustain these levels of uncertainty. Speaking of which, an example of this from the folks over at ICV2, Greater Than Games is a victim of the tariffs. So, Flat River Group subsidiary Greater Than Games has suspended work on all new projects and reduced staff effective April 17th, 2025. The news broke first in a Facebook post by Greater Than Games creative director Daryl Lauder saying, quote, "I couldn't confirm yesterday, but can today," he wrote. "Due to current tariff war, Flat River Group has shuttered Greater Than Games effective today. Me and my team are now unemployed and disbanded. I'm shattered." The move comes in the wake of repeated escalations of U.S. import taxes on goods from China, now at 145%. A statement from parent Flat River Group clarified that while new projects were shuttered, at least for now, the website would remain up with in-stock items available to order. Goods in the current catalog will still be produced as needed, the statement said. Updates will be made at a later date for customers who ordered upcoming products, crowdfunding, pre-orders, etc. So, Greater Than Games, really known for two pretty significant entries in the board game world. One of Josh's favorite games, Sentinels of the Multiverse. Um, so,
I love it almost as
but
much as you love Spirit Island.
but also, my personal favorite game, Spirit Island. So having them, a company that has, Spirit Island, which is a number 10 ranked game on Board Game Geek. Between that and, like I said, having Sentinels of the Multiverse, they're a really like well-known, well-respected company who now is just done. They're just gone. Thoughts on Greater Than Games not making games anymore?
That sucks. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. Just more bad news and just a pile of bad news for board gaming, and eventually video gaming. Uh, yeah,
yeah,
it's too
it's
bad.
yeah. Well, one final bad piece of news, and then we'll cover maybe the one kind of trying to be bright
Ish.
spot. Yeah. Cephalofair Games, the makers of Gloomhaven, currently have $1.2 million of games stranded in China. That's also from ICV2. Around 1.2 million Cephalofair games, the equivalent of 25 40-foot containers, is stranded in China due to recent tariff increases. That's about 60,000 total units of a completed production run that will not make it to the U.S. unless something changes with the current tariff policies. The news comes as Cephalofair Games was scheduled to release Gloomhaven's second edition into retail in May 2025. We've essentially been told to cease our U.S. sales indefinitely, at least until things settle and we have confidence again in the market, said Johnson in the interview. Right now, I couldn't tell you what our pricing would even need to be in the United States to make our products viable because it changes every other day. We can't plan our business around that. So, Josh, Gloomhaven, obviously a game that people adore. Frosthaven, something as well. Releasing the second edition of Gloomhaven was going to kind of clean some things up. But one of the very simple math that they used was that, like, hey, if our production costs $100,000, well, now when it comes to the port with the current tariff, we have to pay $145,000, which means our $100,000 production is actually now $245,000.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't work on trying to deliver $1.2 million of product. What was your reaction? What were your thoughts? What do you think Cephalofair does in this situation?
I don't. I don't. They're gonna just have to wait it out. Really, is what they're gonna have to do. Can they afford to do that? Probably not. They are still a board game company that needs to make things to make money to stay open to pay their employees, just like every other business. It's scary, and a game like people. I think I've talked to I've talked to people about this, and what a lot of people don't understand is the cost of Gloomhaven versus the cost of Monopoly. So
Yeah,
people are like, what do you mean? What's the big deal? Like, I get it, but also like it's £20 for $150 board game. It's a
right.
big difference than a $20 game. So that's gonna crush Isaac. Like they have such a small team, they have such a small company. This has to be like devastating to them. So I feel really bad for them as a huge fan of what they do.
Right. Yeah. It's good. It's tough because they are, they became very successful very quickly, but seem to handle it almost as effectively as you would think a company could. And now, they're just in a really tough spot. So, as a result of all of this, there was someone who is trying to do something about it. So, Wingspan publisher Stonemaier Games is suing U.S. President Donald Trump over his decision to impose spiraling import tariffs on China, a situation that has already seen board game businesses shutter their operations and lay off staff. This again over at Board Game Wire. Stonemaier, which says it's facing an upcoming $1.5 million bill under the new tariff regime, has joined a lawsuit. So obviously they're joining a lawsuit,
It's
not
not
just
just
them.
them, right?
Yeah, challenging Trump's assertion that he can issue tariffs without oversight or accountability from lawmakers in the U.S. Congress. Company co-founder and CEO Jamie Stegmaier said in a statement, "We will not sit idly by while our livelihoods and the livelihoods of thousands of small business owners and contractors in the U.S., along with the customers whose pursuit of happiness we hold dear, are treated like pawns in a political game." An outpouring of support saw more than 100 companies contact Stegmaier within 24 hours of him putting on a request for others who have seen their businesses damaged by the tariffs, he told the 5 Games for Doomsday podcast. Stegmaier also told the podcast he had received his first ever death threats over his decision to take part in the lawsuit. He said in
Fun.
an update yesterday that law firm Pacific Legal, which will be fighting the case, now has, quote, as many clients as it can handle. Although he added that other companies directly impacted by the tariffs could reinforce the case by providing evidence through this form. A spokesperson for Pacific Legal told Board Game Wire, "We will fight on Jamie and his company's behalf against highly damaging tariffs while seeking damages." So, Stegmeyer trying to stand up through Stonemaier Games, suing, getting support from some people, getting death
Yeah.
threats from others. What did you think when you heard that when Jamie posted this post about, joining the lawsuit and suing the president?
I mean, I think the easiest thing is to be like, "Why are you doing this? Nothing's going to happen." But that's the why. That's why these things happen. Because if nobody ever did anything, nothing would ever happen. That's the real truth of it, right? So, uh, good for him for putting himself out there, because obviously he's putting himself out there, and that is not a comfortable thing for someone to do. Uh, for a lot of things, but in this thing's particular, um, it's being outspoken against a person who doesn't like to be spoken to. uh, it
Right,
is a petty battle that people get really dragged through the mud in, and he doesn't have to do this. I mean, he might
right.
financially, but like, he doesn't have to do this. He's doing this because he thinks it's what's right, and he's doing it for on behalf of other companies and people. I've never questioned Jamie's ethics or how he runs his business. So I think that this is just right in line with his character, um, and I think that it's great that he's contributing it in his own way.
Yeah. I mean, I get, they did say that they're currently storing some games in China. But their new game Vantage is supposed to release later this year. And this is that, cooperative exploration game that he's trying to, kind of equate to an open world video game that he's been working on for 8 years. Yeah. So, when you look at, I think the game has like almost 1,000 like standard game cards in it, and like almost 500 like large game cards, and like I mean, this thing is just like chock full of stuff, right?
Yeah,
Like that. Jamie's been very straightforward of like, this couldn't be produced. There's no place to produce this in the United States. Like it can't be done right now. So going to China, which is the only place they can do it. And I was listening to another interview that talked about how there are some games can be made in Europe, like in Germany, but even they can't make everything that can be made in China, just because their production is just not at that level. And so it'll be interesting to see. This is a game that I was really looking forward to. It is not a campaign game; it's just like an open world adventure game. But I do hope we get to see that game this year, and for a price point that he's wanting to have it at. But we'll wait and see as far as this goes. So yeah, so overall, pretty much just bad news in the board game industry. It's been a pretty cool month.
yeah.
Uh, any final thoughts, Josh? Anything else? Have you had any of your, outstanding Kickstarters or anything impacted?
That's funny that you asked that. You know that expensive board game table I backed?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that I already had to pay
Oh no.
$100. I already had to pay $100 in shipping for like a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, I am expecting to have to pay more for shipping or not get it at all, which will put me out a lot of
Have
money.
they
They have been very
have they told
unclear
you
in
how
their
much it's going to be?
messaging. They don't know, they're messaging weekly, but I don't blame them
Uh huh.
for whatever happens, but like their messaging has been as clear as what any of us could guess that would be. And they have some waves that are already here for it. But I don't know what part of the wave I'm in, and I'm probably not in the getting your table this year wave group,
Yeah.
if I had to
Um,
guess.
I had the only one that I've gotten messaged about so far is I had backed Clans of Caledonia in the expansion.
Yeah.
And I think that Kickstarter, I don't know, it was like $70, maybe $80, like right in that ballpark for the game and the expansion. And then I had shipping was like $22 or $23, I think. And then I got a message a couple months ago that was like, hey, due to some changes, our shipping's going up. So then I had to pay like a little bit more. It was like an extra like $3. It wasn't a
Yeah.
ton. So I was like, that's fine, whatever. Well, I just got another message from them, oh gosh, a week ago or so. And they're like, hey, we're exploring what our options are. But they're like, if we ship the things right now, everyone in the United States would have to ostensibly pay an additional $20 to $22 per box, which means that I would have to pay like almost $50 more in shipping. So literally the shipping for this game would cost as much, if not more,
As
than
the
the
game.
game cost me.
Great. Oh my goodness. I have two games I'm waiting for on Kickstarter
Yeah.
still. That were supposed to come this year. My board game table, which was supposed to come last year. And I believe on GameFound I am still waiting on two games on GameFound. So
Did you end up backing Helldivers?
I did not. No.
I did not either. It was very expensive.
Yeah, of course. I could have seen that coming, but I was hoping it would just be one thing, not 17 boxes.
Oh, yeah, right. I know, right? Oh man, this War of Mine second edition. Okay, anyway, stop looking at game phone campaigns. Anything else about board games, Josh?
No. No.
I know some people have been like, "This is a horrible time to get into the hobby." It's actually not. It's still. I mean, there are so many good games that are already available that you can
Yes,
just go
good
get at
point.
stores.
So someone on our Discord
So don't.
said like, should I just print new? I'm just like, there's thousands of board games. If you're getting into the hobby,
Yeah, really
and
great
this
ones.
news is depressing, it should be, and you can be depressed about it, but that doesn't mean you can't play new games, because if you haven't played a board game, it's new to you, and there's thousands of them
Right,
at your
and not
disposal.
saying just to. Yeah, and you shouldn't just buy games to buy games, but if there is a game you are been thinking about, or there's a publisher that you enjoy, like some of them might really need your help or not, like support now more than
Yeah,
ever.
for sure.
So again, don't buy them just to buy them, but if it's something you're interested in and you've been thinking about it, that might be a good time from that perspective. So, all right, well, let's transition to, I guess, maybe slightly happier news and talk some video game things. Josh,
Yeah,
Star Wars Zero Company
yeah.
gets its time to shine. So this much rumored game that finally came to the light of day from the fine folks over at the now returned Game Informer. During this weekend Star Wars celebration in Japan in Tokyo, the team behind the recently announced Star Wars Zero Company delved deeper into what fans should expect from their upcoming tactics game. Developed by BitReactor in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games and Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Apex Legends developer Respawn Entertainment, Star Wars Zero Company puts you in control of Hawks, a former Republic officer, in a gritty story starring an original cast set during the Clone Wars. Josh, Star Wars Zero Company. A, did you check out the trailer? B, I mean, I feel like this is your kind of game. How are you feeling about this game coming out in 2026?
Too far away. That's how I feel about it. Stop showing
Really?
me
I mean,
games for
2025 got a lot
2026.
going on.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's great. I don't know much about BitReactor, so I don't know what they
So
have
they're a
done.
new company formed by a whole bunch of former oh gosh, the people who make XCOM.
Oh, Firaxis.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of former Firaxis people.
Okay, so yeah, I got it. I just found their website now. So collectively developed some of the most successful games you've heard of, such as XCOM, Civilization, Gears of War, and Elder Scrolls Online. You lost me at Elder Scrolls Online, but everything else sounds good. Yeah, I'm excited. I have recently taken a turn towards tactics games. I was never really big in the past with them, but there's certainly been some games that have helped me change my mind. Gears Tactics, Midnight Suns, XCOM 2. So I'm excited for this. It's perfect universe to have this game. Makes a lot of sense. So, cinematic looked cool. There was some gameplay splashed in there. It looked good.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing groundbreaking, but that's okay. I'd be happy to play some Star Wars Tactics.
No, absolutely. I am not much of a tactics person typically, though I, didn't though I need to get back to it. Um, I really enjoyed Midnight Suns, what I played.
Yeah,
There was just, man, there was so much story in that game. Like way
lot
more
of
than I
story.
expected. So much story in that game. But the actual, like, and I know that the tactical combat in that game was a little bit different than kind of XCOM and probably different than what this is. But I don't know why, but I'm not a huge Star Wars person either. But when I watched this trailer, I was kind of into it. So yeah, we'll see. 2026 is a ways away still, but I was pleasantly surprised by my level of interest for this game. So we'll see, what Zero Company has to show us in the upcoming, year or so until it comes out. But I'm at least remotely interested. So we'll see, what happens there. In what was probably the worst kept secret of the last, like, I don't know, year or two, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster was announced and released on the same day.
That's a pretty
So
good secret part. That part was a good secret.
I don't know if it was that good.
Dropping the
Uh,
same day.
so again, over from Game Informer, the long rumored then half confirmed Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered has finally been legitimately revealed. This morning, Bethesda shared a live stream showcasing the game and explaining their love for arguably the most important entry in the franchise, even if it is not necessarily the most popular. Virtuos developed the remastered version of the game. Bethesda's Tyler Howard also made reference to the fact that the work on the sixth Elder Scrolls is obviously continuing, but the stream was wholly focused on Oblivion. Josh, did you watch this little stream? What is your history with Oblivion, and are you excited about the remaster?
I did watch the stream. My history with Oblivion is I tried once to play it on the Xbox 360, and I didn't like it.
Okay.
And because it was like, I don't know, it was just kind of like a janky, graphically poor mess of a game, in my opinion, at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I watched this trailer. They did such a great job. It made me want to play it. I downloaded it. I haven't played it, but I downloaded it. Because I'm more into this type of RPG now, but I'm also like still not Fallout. I'm not Skyrim. So I don't know that this is going to change my mind, but it should not be called remastered. It should be called remake. It looks so good. Um, it looks like when we talk about like a Resident Evil remake versus a remaster, like those are two different lines that are drawn, and not Resident Evil 4, but also Resident Evil 4. But the first Resident Evil and then Resident Evil 2 remakes, except I believe they changed some gameplay and
Mm-hmm.
story, which makes it, I guess, a remake. And Oblivion is, I guess, properly a remaster. But I've watched some people play it because it's probably not for me, and it looks great. It looks awesome. I'm very happy for them, and watching that video really kind of helped sell that story to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like having these people still work on this game that worked on the original game, um, and not changing anything because they wanted to keep these important things from the original game. So it kind of makes me think of like if they ever like remade a game like I Love Lost Odyssey, the RPG from Xbox. Like if we get a
Mm-hmm.
remaster of that that just kind of kept everything the same. Um, so I'm happy for those people. Although I don't usually find myself in the same camp as those people, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
We're in adjacent campsites.
So, Josh, what's interesting is that I am in a pretty similar boat to you. I never played the original Oblivion. I did watch the stream, and I was like, "Oh, that looks neat." So then I downloaded the 123 or 125 or
Yeah.
128 gigabyte
Huge
download on my
file.
Xbox, and then I've just been playing Clair Obscur Expedition
Yeah.
33.
I don't know that I can go
Uh,
play this after Clair Obscur.
yeah, potentially. We'll see. Here's what I will say, Josh, though, because you said it looks impressive. I'll agree. Like when I watched it, I was like, pretty nice. So here's what the fine folks over at Digital Foundry have said. Oblivion Remastered PC. impressive modernization blighted by dire performance problems.
Oh, ouch.
And then they also said Oblivion Remastered, a crucial patch improves the Series X performance, but it's still not good enough.
Hmm.
So at least from a performance standpoint, apparently, maybe leaving a few things to be desired. Um, also, Josh, does this give you any fear then? Because Virtuos, these are the same people who are doing Metal Gear Solid Delta, right?
No, I'm not
So
worried about Metal Gear Solid Delta. The only
okay,
worry I have is will it ever release? That's my only worry.
it's coming out in August, supposedly, right?
Well, yeah, we'll see about that.
Gotcha. So, I did think. Why do you think they released this when they did?
It sucks for a Clair Obscur. So I don't
Which
know.
I did actually just read while we were podcasting that they've had 1,000,000
1
sales
million
since launch.
sales. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yep,
saw that.
which is great. That's great for a
Yeah, that's
$50
huge.
game, $50.
Yep.
I made the joke about this being released, and maybe it's not a joke now. I don't know. I did make the joke though that they released it now because Bethesda wanted people to remember that they make good RPGs too. Because like Clair Obscur is coming out, and people loved it. I was like, oh, maybe Bethesda wants to be like, hey, don't forget about us. We
Yeah,
make
yeah.
nice games too. Because Avowed came out that sure, maybe not everyone loved that, but a lot of people did. So between the kind of the RPGs that have been coming out this year, I feel like Bethesda proper hasn't been maybe getting quite the love that they are used to. So,
Yeah. Maybe. That's
but
definitely a possibility. But I think in
yeah,
their favor, everyone compares RPGs to Bethesda RPGs, so they're never
it's true.
really out of that. So they're still around. People will still always jump to
Well,
Bethesda. Not me, but a
and I
lot of
think
people will.
also, we've had how many editions of Skyrim at this point? Like, getting one new edition of Oblivion seems like
I don't know. I think Last of Us is giving it a run for its money.
oh, I would agree there. How many different ways can we repackage The Last of Us? Apparently, a lot is the answer to that. Goodness gracious. So, all right. And then a final little quick hit here. Sony showed a bit from two games coming this year, both Marathon and Ghost of Yote. So Marathon got about an hour stream that revealed a number of different things, including the gameplay
Yeah.
with a September release date. Josh, did you watch any of the Marathon information? Do you have any interest or desire in playing this PvPvE extraction shooter? What are your
My,
thoughts on Marathon, sir?
I didn't watch a lot of the content because it looked like a lot of the content was like cinematic content, which was fine, I guess. But I watched the gameplay trailer, and sure, I'm not blown away. I'm not impressed either, really, if I'm being honest. Looks kind of boring. Looks kind of plain to me. Looks very like I don't know, fresh coat of paint on like a boring areas. Maybe that will change, but it looked very plain, very like open. I don't know. I just had like a weird take on it, I think. I don't know what I was expecting though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I actually was rather impressed by the art direction of the game. I don't know that I'm super excited about a PvPvE extraction shooter,
Yeah.
but I really like how Bungie's shooting feels. So if there's ever a game that's going to maybe make me like that, this
Yeah.
could be it.
That's a good point.
And while I do think that the environments are pretty minimalistic, one comment that I saw someone say was like, "Why would you ever play this instead of Apex?" And as someone who did play a reasonable amount of Apex when it first released, the visual clutter in that game was ridiculous. Trying to actually see who you were shooting at was so challenging. Um, so that's like very simply off the fact of like, if this has less visual clutter, so I can more easily identify who I'm shooting at, I'm in. Like
Yeah.
that seems better, right? Um, but yeah, so we'll see. I think their alpha is going right now. This weekend was the alpha people could try to get into. I'll be really interested to see the feedback from that, what people say about it. Um, I really wonder if this doesn't hit, what this means for the future of Bungie. And my biggest concern with them is not the way the game plays or the way the game feels, is can they provide the content to do this like seasonal ongoing living game that is a premium game that's not going to be a premium price, but it's not going to be free. We'll see. We'll
Well,
see.
yeah, I'm glad. I don't want to get into that, but I thought I asked a pretty simple question in our Discord,
What's that?
and what is the difference between a premium and full priced game? And nobody could give me an answer. Like, what is?
Well,
They said it's not. It's gonna be. What do they say? Something like back. I don't know. I was like, this is not a full price game. This is a premium game title. I'm like, what does that mean? Isn't a premium game a full price game?
would you say that Clair Obscur is a premium game? Because it's not full price.
But they're not saying they're a premium game.
I know, but I'm just asking you. Would you say that is it a premium game?
If you didn't tell me that it was $50, I would have assumed it was a $70 game. Yes.
Right.
Marathon does not look like a $50 game. It looks like a free to play game.
Yeah.
Free to play. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. It's fine. If it's fine, like I'm watching someone stream it now too. There's a bunch of people streaming it still. I don't know. I'm looking at like the inventory looks exactly like Apex. The movement looks like Apex. I don't know. Apex is free. It's not a premium game. What is a premium game? I can. That's my gripe.
Because you say it looks like. Does it look like
versus
Apex, or
full
does it look
price
like Destiny?
No, it doesn't look like Destiny. The way
From
there's
a movement
moving.
perspective.
I guess a little bit. Maybe because I'm watching. It's just in a different environment that I'm used to Destiny in. It looks more like Apex to me right now. I mean, the planets look like Destiny up in the air, but it looks like Apex. Movement wise, I don't know, man. But now the sniper rifle looks like Halo. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to come down on it like super harsh. It just nothing like made me scream. Like I'm like, this guy's in an inventory screen right now. It is the busiest inventory screen I've ever seen in a shooter. It's like it's all squares. It's all in its grid. There's guns in the left. There's backpack in the middle. There's an extra screen. Okay, never mind. There's another screen in the same inventory menu that reminds me of Destiny. Going to the left screen to see your other options.
As a side note, because I am now going to Twitch as well, do you know that Overwatch 2 has more people watching it right now than Marvel Rivals does?
Oh, they're coming back.
Yeah, apparently.
Or Marvel's fading. Or both.
So here's what I'll tell you. So I'm watching this person play too. Yeah, okay, I can see the movement comparison to Apex.
Wait till they open. You gotta find someone opening that inventory screen.
That's what I'm waiting to see if this person does do that. Yeah. But what I do think is going to be kind of I don't want to say telling, but I'll be apparently the enemy, like the computer based enemies in this game are. Oh yeah. Well, I mean I don't know. This is any more. They just open the inventory screen. I don't know that that's any more or less busy than Fortnite or Apex or any of those. There's always 1,000 things on those screens. Like when I remember when I tried to play Fortnite not that long ago, I went into that. I'm like, I don't know what anything.
Yeah, Fortnite's messy too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's just unfortunately the nature of trying to have all of the information you need available in one screen. It makes it a little bit, yeah. But I don't know if man, you know what this actually almost in some ways feels like too is actually Call of Duty, like the running motion with his knife out.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need to analyze that anymore. In addition,
oh hey, so Gloomhaven's free, by the way. Gloomhaven is free on Prime Gaming.
Oh, nice! There you go.
Pick up mention that. Board game podcast and
all. Sony also, being very characteristically Sony, was just like, hey, that Ghost of Yote game we have coming out this year, it's coming out in October. Let's just put a blog post up and a new trailer.
Yeah, let's not give it any
October
attention.
2nd, you can play it. Just no fanfare of any sort. What is probably one of their bigger games of the year. Just, hey, by the way, don't forget about us. We're going to release. Josh, Ghost of Yote, did you watch the trailer? Are you excited? Will you be playing it October 2nd?
Oh, yeah. Looks great. I was very sad for Erika Ishii that this is how her game debut is going to be handled so far. I know that they'll have showcases going forward, but I can't imagine as an actor and actress that you wouldn't be super excited for this to come out and just to have it kind of dropped uh, in people's inboxes in the middle of the day is probably kind of a bummer.
Now,
But it
I
looks
will say that
incredible.
I would agree, but here's the one thing I will say that I checked the other day. Let me see if this is still on here or where this is at now. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So I also was on the same boat of like, man, this is super underwhelming. I mean, it has almost 2 million views in 4 days.
Yeah. I mean, but people are going to seek it out. But, do we just have we have these directs for things that there's a game and a direct that we've seen 7 directs or
Mm-hmm.
state of plays or Xbox
Yep.
wires or whatever Xbox does now. It just seems like they could have given it its own thing for a minute, 15-minute direct state of play for Ghost of Yotai.
Yeah.
Could have been nice, but it is what it is. I'm very happy with the trailer. I think
Yeah.
it
I
looks
mean,
great.
yeah. I don't disagree. I do think it is a little bit of a meh as far as that goes. I'm just trying to see if there's what is the biggest on here.
There's more there. I'm gonna regret saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyways. There's more promotion for Forza Horizon 5 than there was
Yeah.
for the Ghost of Yotai trailer. And rightly so. But also,
So no, I
it's
don't
like
disagree.
someone
I
stealing something and they bought a billboard to take a picture of them stealing it from you and wave it in your face. Hey, look at this thing
yeah,
we stole from you. Check it out. Isn't it pretty? Oh, we even painted it a little bit. It's going to look a
yeah.
little bit better.
What I have been told though is that you could send if you're publishing a game on Sony's platform, you can basically send them just anything to put on their YouTube channel, and they just will. So
Okay.
Xbox is like, here, put this Forza trailer up, and PlayStation's like, okay,
All right, we'll
seems
do
good. Let's do it.
it. As long as it says
So,
only on PlayStation.
yeah, but hey, don't worry, Josh. Because sometime this spring, still, we're gonna get that Borderlands 4 state of play, and that's what we're all looking forward to.
Right, exactly. That's just what we need. Oh, yeah.
Which is coming out the same day as Marathon, so that's fine. Anyway, so Sony, trying to do things but poorly. Uh, Bethesda giving a huge long presentation to a thing that's apparently buggy, and Star Wars Hero Company coming out in like a year. But hey, on the positive side, Josh, the Switch 2 was revealed. So
Yes.
pre-orders were announced, pre-orders were canceled. Mario Kart World Direct happened, pre-orders were announced again. They happened, and people seem to think it went poorly. So a lot has happened. Like our last episode posted the day before the Switch 2 Direct happened. So obviously a ton of things have happened since then. Part of me is pretty actually happy that we didn't have another episode right away because so many things have changed and adjusted that
Yeah.
now we could kind of just have taken it all in and see what we feel about everything. I posted some stories in the notes. We don't have to talk about them if you don't want to, but just more generally, did you watch the Switch 2 reveal, Josh? What were your thoughts? Obviously, you tried to pre-order one but didn't get one. But generally, how are we feeling about the Switch 2? Overwhelmed, underwhelmed, whelmed? What do we think?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually don't know how I feel about the Switch 2. I know that my son wants one, and I know
Yeah.
that I want to get him one because we do a lot of family gaming on our Switch. That doesn't have to change. We don't have to get a Switch 2 to change that. But, I'm a lifelong Mario Kart and uh, the only reason I currently want to switch to is for Mario Kart World, whatever they're calling
Okay.
it. Because it looks great. And there's certainly Nintendo always gets me on something. I think the Donkey Kong game looks really fun. Um,
Uh huh.
and then I think it's kind of mostly just stuff I've already played elsewhere. Which is again, that's fine. I didn't see any reason. Doesn't I'm not rebuying Street Fighter 6. I'm not rebuying Split Fiction. I'm not rebuying Hogwarts Legacy. Uh,
Yeah.
those are things I'm not doing. I will say I am tempted to add Civilization 7 to that list and using the Joy-Cons as the mice.
Yeah.
That does intrigue me. I'm not paying $80 to do that though. So that's a different problem. But yeah, I don't. The Nintendo does this thing that they do really well is for me is they announce something that a lot of people get excited about that I'm like moderately excited about, and then I maintain a moderate excitement for the life of the console. And I buy like 4 like standout games that I could only have played there,
Yeah.
and everything else I kind of buy for maybe convenience. But I have a Steam Deck now, so I don't necessarily need that. But I can't play every game on the Steam Deck, so like the Switch is still a pretty viable portable console for me. What was your thoughts on the announcement direct?
I think the mouse integration is neat, and I'm kind of glad that exists because otherwise I don't this seems kind of not a Nintendo move because this really is just like more Switch, right? Like Nintendo usually tries to pivot and do like something a little like neat or
Like the
novel
Wii
with their
U.
next console. Right, and they have traditionally done different things at a those they at yeah, second screen experiences, the motion controls with the Wii, like they're always trying to do like different unique things. And not that the mouse integration, we'll see how much that actually gets utilized, and it sounds like they're doing some really cool things with it that like literally for like playing Metroid you can just like play it with the mouse and just like, literally just pick the Joy Cons up and just start playing like without the mouse, like you don't have to change anything, which is that's awesome. That's very cool that it works that seamlessly. But otherwise it's just like more Switch, which isn't bad. But I'm just slightly surprised that that is what it is just more Switch. um Also, like the fact that Breath of the Wild, which was a Wii U game, now costs more money than it's ever costed before, and people are just like cool with it for the most part. It seems like people are mad about the prices. I'm not saying that everyone's just like rolled over on it, but like nobody's not going to buy it. It's not like suddenly someone's gonna be like, "Well, I'm not gonna." No, everyone's just gonna buy it because it's Nintendo, and everyone
Well, I
talks
know
a
2
big game.
people who aren't going to buy it.
Well, right, but we were gonna buy it anyway. But I do think that Nintendo is the masters at we can make as many jokes as we want to about PlayStation, like charging upgrade fees and all of that stuff. We can make as many jokes, and they do it, and they should be called out for it. But Nintendo is definitely the master of this. That literally you are paying more money than has ever existed for a Wii U game, but that's fine, totally fine. I will say their launch lineup isn't bad. It's a little, yeah, it's a whole bunch of stuff that like you and I have already played or had the chance to play if we wanted to. But if you only play on Switch, there's a lot of good things here that you maybe not have been able to experience before. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Cyberpunk is a huge get for them for
Yeah,
that on one
absolutely.
cartridge too. I mean, we'll see how it looks
Right.
when it
Yep.
comes out.
Yep. The fact that they're charging for Welcome Tour kind of blows my mind, but
That's
that's
insane.
fine. Whatever. I mean, it's $10, but that's fine. GameCube coming in, that's great. I think
That's
getting
cool. I
GameCube
like that. Yeah.
games, coming in is fun. I know the secondary market for those is really expensive, so that's nice. The partner games, obviously, they have a ton of things like long term that are looking at coming. Obviously, the exclusive from software game was something a lot of people were excited about. That
Dusk
I don't know.
something.
What's that?
Dusk something.
Oh, Dusk Bloods.
Dusk Bloods. Is that the from
Yeah,
soft one?
which, yeah, probably blew the skirt up for a lot of other people. Maybe not so much us. We're not.
2026.
Yeah, 2026 game and it's a PvPvE game as well. So that's all the rage these days, it seems. I thought Donkey Kong Bonanza looked interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of a neat little thing. But yeah, so I would say I was whelmed. Like it's pretty much kind of what I like. Nothing super blew me away. Nothing was super unexpected for me other than, like I said, maybe the from software game being an exclusive, or at least we'll see if it's just timed or
Timed
what it is. I know
exclusive.
it says only available on Switch 2, but like for how long. We'll see.
Right.
Maybe forever. Nintendo does lock things down sometimes, so who knows? But yeah, I don't know. There was nothing that I was super, super shocked by. All seemed pretty much like, yep. As a result, will I get one? Yeah, maybe eventually, but I am not super worried about um not getting one right away as far as that goes. So yeah.
Have you seen how bad the gameplay looks when there's 4 people doing the video?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's
But
no
hey, at least
way.
they didn't
There's
hide it,
no way it can run that bad when it comes out, right?
No, it probably does, but at least they didn't hide it. It
Yeah, it looks
I,
so bad though. The frames, it's like 20 frames,
yeah, it is pretty rough. Part of me is just impressed that I can do it.
I guess.
So I don't know if that's the thing I should be impressed by, but
You're
I kind of
driving
am
into
impressed that.
walls because you can't tell it's a wall until you hit it.
So yeah, but we'll see. I am excited for the people who are excited. I will, like I said, I will eventually get one of these. I just don't know. I like Mario Kart fine. I Donkey Kong Bonanza looks fun.
Yeah.
Air Riders, whatever. Okay. Hyrule Warriors, man, I really want to get into Musos, but I just can't for whatever reason. I've tried, it just has never really worked. So yeah, and then most of the other third party stuff is things I could have played if I wanted to, and I either have or I've chosen not to. And playing on the Switch isn't going to do it for me. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe by the holidays I'll have one. We'll see. But I think that would also depend on kind of anything else they announce coming up as far as that goes. So
Is there a game that they could announce that would make you need to get one?
I mean, I really did like Mario Odyssey.
Okay, so like a Odyssey 2.
Yeah, and Nintendo's being weird like they always are. That some people say that Donkey Kong Bonanza is the Mario Odyssey team.
It looks
Some
like
people
it, yeah.
say it's not. Nintendo won't tell you who it is. Maybe it's part of. Maybe it's a small offshoot. Like who knows?
Yeah.
But I did really enjoy Odyssey. I played quite a bit of that. So I'd probably play something like that again. I don't know. I think is the big thing. I don't know if there is something anymore that would really get me back to being a Nintendo person.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe I could play the Metroid Prime games. I've never played them. Maybe those would really help. I don't know. Is there something you're really hoping that comes soon?
Not really. I mean, I think a proper Mario RPG like
Mm-hmm.
follow up would really get me excited. But I didn't really like I didn't like Thousand Year Door and the other one, the stamp the stamp one. Too gimmicky. I want so I don't know. Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart Forza is really doing it for me.
Oh,
So
so there it's okay if they have Forza. I see how it is.
well, because they're not just stealing it by name and
It's just
saying
stealing it. You mean
we
Microsoft
own
publishing it
this
on the
now.
platform?
Let's not bring Microsoft into this. They know what they did to me. No, I do like the Mario Kart. I was just excited with like these like beautiful new textures and graphics and more characters, which is
Yeah.
like the best, but like having this like these different interesting ways to play it
Mm-hmm.
really like has made me excited for it. Uh, so that will keep me happy for months, I think. And then eventually a new Mario Party for this would be great. Not this Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV nonsense. And I'm not swearing because we don't swear in this podcast, but I could swear with how angry that I am about this nonsense. You can't like, and that goes towards the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Do not pass off these games this way, please. Like, I don't like that. I think it's a little rude to your fans,
Wow.
disingenuous, maybe. For $80, are you joking? Like, come on. It should be free, add on, and you should charge $60 for the game for people who don't already own it. I don't like that part. That part kind of gives me as the kids would say. It gives me the ick.
Ah,
I don't like that. It just seems very kind of gross. But Nintendo going to Nintendo. They're going to make all that money anyways. And it just more speaks to me being like separated from the Nintendo atmosphere now, like we have been, I think, since Breath of the Wild.
yeah. I mean, Nintendo's got a Nintendo. I do think, right, if you are a subscriber to Nintendo Switch Online, though, you get some of them for free, right?
I
Is that
think
true?
it was that free, or it was like $10 or something like that.
Whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I like Mario Kart every time I play it. I just never really feel compelled to play it. You know? And maybe if I had a kid or something like that who wanted to do those things, it'd be totally different. I don't know.
Yeah, we can always invite you to our Mario Kart nights, and then you can spend $100 for a Piranha Plant webcam, and then maybe you can pay
And
an
you can
extra $40 a month to your internet provider to get a better upload download speed, so we can see each other while we play.
my upload download is pretty good actually.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, I'll pay it on my end.
okay, cool. All right. Well, hey, Nintendo Switch 2. Everyone loves it. We're, us on it. I'm sure it'll be good. We'll both eventually have one, probably Josh before me.
I'm
But
excited. Donnie, don't take my console away. I still want it. I know Donnie's listening, going, "Why am I holding one of these for him?
why am I giving this one to this guy? Goodness
He hates
gracious.
it. He hates everything I love." That's not true, Donnie. I love most things you love.
All right. Well, hey, let's go ahead, kind of move towards wrapping our show up. Obviously, we're a gaming podcast, but we want to give you one other recommendation, suggestion, or thing we're currently into that's helping us live that well-rounded life. Josh, what is your recommendation this month?
So go out, get yourself some Aleve, get yourself an icy hot stick, and then go sign up for a softball league or something. Get out there and be physical at your age. You know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you 40 somethings who haven't done any physical activity in a group setting for a very long time. I joined my friend's softball league. We had our first game today. I hadn't swung a bat in 20 years. I hadn't caught a ball in 10 years. I didn't know what I was up for. I haven't run very far, very fast in a long time. So yeah, I did pretty good today. We still lost.
Okay. What position are you playing?
I was playing center field.
Oh,
I
okay.
made some pretty good plays. I made some pretty important catches and backed up some of my fielders.
Nice.
I did happen to know the umpire randomly, so I did get what I would call a generous call at first base. Which I probably should have been called out on, but that's okay. That's why you talk to people before the game starts. Yeah, very casual, slow pitch softball league. Came out of the blue. My friend reached out, was like, "Hey, I'm trying to get this team together. Would you be interested?" And actually, my wife was the one who kind of encouraged me to do it. And so I did it. So 8 Sundays, get out there, try not to hurt ourselves too much. I will tell you, my rotator cuff is pretty rough right now. I also learned, don't put icy hot in your armpit. That was a terrible mistake. I'll never do that again.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
Oh no, that was awful. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. We lost, but I think they really opened it up against us in the last inning, and they took an inning away from us for time. So I think we lost 6-3.
Oh, gotcha.
Or
So not
6-2.
horrible.
6-2, 6-3. It wasn't that bad. I've played softball like a long, long time ago. And those were games where it was like 18-0 some games, and like just beats you down. You don't
getting mercy ruled. So
yeah. So talk to your friends, join a league, do something, whether it be softball or curling or rock climbing or wiffle ball, all these things, bowling. There's a lot of things you can do. Just get out there. It feels good, and just make sure it's something that you're interested in.
Just don't do pickleball because that leads to people going to the hospital.
Interesting.
Have you not heard this?
No.
Pickleball has directly been correlated to increases in ER visits because of
Really?
ankles, knees, all
And
those
it's
things.
all
And
old
it's old
people playing
people.
it.
Yep, 100%,
Sure.
100%.
Okay, that makes sense.
Just kidding. You can play pickleball if you want to. Just be careful. Awesome. So Josh says join a softball league or something.
Yeah.
My recommendation is based off of Josh's recommendation to me.
I'd love
I
to
had
see
asked
it.
him quite a while ago about a show I should watch, and he told me I should watch Psych, so I did, and I finished Psych, and I loved it. So then I said, "What else should I watch?" And Josh is like, "Well, you've seen Scrubs," and I was like, "Well, no, I haven't seen Scrubs." He's like, "Well, then you need to watch Scrubs." So I started watching Scrubs, and it is great. Is it as good as some of my other comedy shows I really enjoy? No, but it is still very, very good. Stylistically is pretty different, just kind of the little, like, I don't even know what to call them, kind of like
Dream
the
sequences.
like the representation of like what JD's like thinking in his head, then they have it play out where like he'll turn into the Hulk and you're like, that's just weird. So those things are a little bit weird, but the show is also has some oddly touching moments in it, like that
Yes.
you really would not expect. So it does a good job of being funny sometimes, being kind of heartfelt sometimes, but always approaching it with some levity and those sorts of things. So if you've never watched Scrubs, you can watch it on Peacock. I'm enjoying my time with it. And again, Josh is crushing it with his recommendations of shows for me.
How far in are you?
I'm like season 3, so I'm not super far, like halfway.
Okay, you're in season 3.
Yeah.
So have you gotten to Brendan Fraser yet?
Oh gosh. So
You would
here
know.
now, this is gonna be the hard thing because I have seen him and I know he's in it, but I'm trying to remember if I've seen him because of what I have seen
He's
or
in season 3,
yeah.
but he's in the later
Yeah,
ends of season 3.
no, I don't think so because I'm on I'm only on episode like 6, I think.
Okay.
So,
I
I
only
was like,
ask because it's there's 2. I won't spoil the other one. There's 2 like guest stars on that show that I
mhm,
think bring that show to another level. And
okay.
Brendan Fraser is one of them, and I think a lot of people wouldn't expect that from him, but I really love his character in that show.
So we'll get there. I'm sure. Like I said, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep plugging along. I just something about 22-minute comedies, right? Because obviously they were
Yeah,
half hour back in the day. So now when you watch them 22 minutes, something about just being able to like feel like you're making good progress all the time is pretty
oh yeah.
nice as far as that goes. So yeah. So Scrubs, if you've never watched it, I'd recommend it. So all right, Josh, what do you say we wrap this show up?
Let's do it. Thanks for joining us, everyone. In addition to finding us on Instagram at Board with VG, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/boardwithvg. So feel free to give us a 5-star rating over there. Also, if you want to communicate in the more long form, or you're just not feeling social media, please feel free to send us an email at boardwithvg@gmail.com. Now, we tag our stuff with hashtag boardwithvg, so also please feel free to use that hashtag. Let us know what you're doing when I search that hashtag so I can see the games you're playing. Or, I don't know, what else do people do? The softball leagues you joined, or
Yeah, there you
the
go.
shuffleboard tournament you did. But whatever podcast service you're listening to us on, we do encourage you to give us a stellar rating. That is whether you're downloading us from the Dice Tower Network feed or our very own standalone Board with Video Games feed. I'm still on all the things. And why so serious? That's SIRRIUS. Kyle, where can people find you?
You can find me on many of the things at Psychocross, CYCOCROSS. As always, if you have suggestions for future topics, be sure to reach out to us on the social media because we want to talk about what you want to hear about. And remember, everyone, whether it be board games or video games, never stop gaming.